Alright, in this video we are going to cover the inbound inventory requirements when shipping to Amazon FBA. We'll cover the shipping boxes, weights, dimensions, the pallets, all that good stuff. So let's get right on into it. What we'll cover in this video. It's important to understand what a standard unit versus an oversized unit is, and we'll cover that and why it's important. Box weight, dimension, and label requirements. What boxes not to use or risk suspension or future blocks into FBA. FBA Pallet Requirements, and what happens if you fail to meet these requirements in this video. So let's get right into standard unit versus oversized unit. It's important to understand if your item, product, unit, whatever you want to call it, is a standard size or oversized, because Amazon has a definition of that, and it requires that you pack those items very specifically when you're sending those items into the FBA warehouse. So a standard unit by Amazon's definition is 20 pounds or less. That's going to be 18 inches by 14 inches by 8 inches, so that'll be the max size of that specific product or unit. Any item above these dimensions are classified as oversized. So it's very important to understand that. Typically, if you have it wrong, you think your item's a standard size, you have that dimension in there, and Amazon scans it, it does go through a laser scanner. It will get measured and moved into a higher oversized priced bracket. Next, box weights and labeling requirements. So when you're shipping standard sized units, you can only ship a box that weighs 50 pounds or less. And that box should not exceed 25 inches on any side. So let's say you have a 25 by 25 by 25 box that's packed full of product, and your box weighs 60 pounds. That is in violation of the requirements. You'll want to split that shipment up into two different boxes. So, again, if your standard sized items weigh more than 50 pounds, split into two boxes for shipments, and there are no other special labeling requirements. So as long as the boxes are below 25 inches on any side, weigh less than 50 pounds, your standard size units will go into the FBA warehouse, no problem. Now, if a box contains an oversized item, and oversized going back here above these dimensions, those items should be one item per box, meaning you should not have two oversized items in a huge box. The other requirements are if one single item weighs more than 50 pounds, Amazon requires you to put a team lift label on the side of the box. Don't put it on the seams or on the corners. Make sure it's visible. And if it's over 100 pounds, you're going to want to put a mech lift label on that. So make sure that that label is in there. They're just trying to protect the fulfillment center workers from any kind of injury, and it's your job as the Amazon seller to make sure that you are doing your part and labeling them correctly so the fulfillment center associate can do their job safely. What boxes not to use? So point of sale containers, I get this a lot. You don't want to use those. A point of sale container, I'll give you an example. It looks like this right here. These boxes where it's open face, it cannot be sealed. A lot of items are shipped like this. Think of like your grocery store, Costco, stuff like that. You definitely don't want to use any of that. You don't want to use any pallet-sized boxes like Gaylords. That's, these big boxes where it's one big box in a pallet. They won't accept those. Also, you don't want to bundle any boxes together with elastic, tape, straps, bungees, whatever you're using to do that. They will not accept those. Those jam up the conveyor belts. and they will not accept those and or give you a fee and possible block your inbound FBA if you continue to do those kind of things. It should be just one box. That covers all the smaller items. Let's talk about the pallet requirements. So when you're sending an entire pallet of goods to the FBA warehouse, the fulfillment centers, that pallet should be 40 inches by 48 inches. I know there's a lot of 48 by 48s out there. Some other different sizes. By the letter of the law of Amazon's inbound requirements, that pallet should be 40 inches by 48 inches. The pallet should be a wood pallet, not a composite or plastic or any other kind of pallet. And it should be a 4-way pallet, so the forklift or pallet jack can get into that pallet anyway. And also, and I put in parentheses here, in good condition too. They will, the fulfillment center, ding you for any kind of pallet that is not in good condition, because it is a hazard for the associate. So make sure that pallet is in good condition. Some no-brainers here. Heaviest boxes on the bottom, so they don't crush or risk tipping over during shipment or in the inbound checking in process. That pallet should not weigh more than 1,500 pounds. If you have a shipment above that, break it up into 2 different pallets. The total height of the pallet should be 72 inches or less. That's 6 feet. The only exclusion to this is if a single item is exceeding this dimension. It's very rare, but there are some pretty large items that might exceed 72 inches. But for the most part, and most sellers, they won't have a problem with this. So make sure it's below 72 inches. As far as the overhang, when you stack your boxes nicely onto the pallet, you might have a little bit of an overhang. Amazon understands this. They require no more than a 1-inch overhang on all the sides. So make sure that you're not having things stick out 2 or 3 inches. They will take photos of those infringements and make sure that you understand that that's not acceptable and possibly block you from inbound shipments if you continue to violate those kind of things. So again, just make sure no more than 1 inch of overhang. Each box on your pallet should have an FBA shipment label. We'll cover that in a different video, but make sure that you understand each box does need its own FBA shipment label. So each box will have a label on that pallet. Once all the boxes on the pallet are stacked, you're going to want to go ahead and stretch wrap that pallet so all the boxes are sturdy to the pallet. And then on the top center of each side of the pallet, you're going to want to put the shipment label on all 4 sides. So that would cover the receiving process. And again, we'll cover that in a future video as well. Now, what happens when you fail the requirements? A couple different things that we have here on the screen. Amazon can and will block inbound shipments for your account. Typically, they would send you pictures of the violation, make you go through a kind of a little wizard, if you will, on the screen saying, here's a picture, do you understand what happened? You'll resolve that issue. And if things continue to happen, they can refuse your shipments, block your inbound shipments, stuff like that. So you're going to want to just make sure you follow the rules there. They can also charge you additional fees or charges, and they're free to do that. You can see those in the terms and conditions. The other thing is you can really slow your sale of product. Sometimes your inventory will be pulled to the side to take photos or to resolve some kind of issue, which means your inventory is not available for sale. And if you're out of stock, could cost you some revenue there. So that covers all of the items in the inbound inventory requirements when shipping items to FBA, either via small parcel or via LTL with pallets. You can check out fbauniversity.co for more information. And also, if you have any specific questions that we didn't cover in this video, go ahead and send an email to support@fbauniversity.co. We'd love to answer any questions that you have.